Let's get back to work. The only thing you can use to protect people from this abuse is the humble spoken word and get people to listen and understand, and then uh, the actions be humble and right. It's the only way you can save people from genocide operations and homicidal people, like we discussed yesterday, about right and wrong and good and bad, and there is no conflict between right and wrong and good and bad. Right doesn't fight with wrong. Wrong fights wrong. Good doesn't fight bad. Bad fights bad. And then bad tries to act like right. Good doesn't exist, and wrong tries to act like right doesn't exist. And we'll never have peace. We'll never have world love. We'll never live the Lord's Prayer. It's just not tangible. And the reason why is most likely because of the brain chemical addiction of people that have been doing this for thousands of years. It's entirely tangible that the people giving us AI right now are molecular similitudes of the very people that gave us the Valley of the Kings, the Valley of the Dead, the Greek Empire, the Roman Empire, the Great Wall of China, stuff like that. So it's very tangible. Once they do something and it works, then they feel powerful, and they're very manipulative, and it makes them feel powerful. So it's very tangible that everything just shifts. That the people that are giving us AI are the same people that are responsible for the Inquisition, the Holocaust. Okay. Most of them don't see it because they try to separate themselves from the past. But if you go look at the historical, when they show you these people, Isaac Newton and stuff, and they tell you about Newton, oh man, that guy was not psychologically well. Okay. You can upset and want to understand something to a point where it's excessive and compulsive, instead of have a good understanding of it without having to break it down to the most minute detail, like neuroscience and neurobiology. Okay. Taking what they do a lot of the times, you saw it on Big Bang Theory. They take animals and they torture these animals to study how the brain is working during torture and how to get you to assimilate to torture and make it more acceptable to human beings by finding ways to do so with animals. And then Penny's and Bernadette's job, here's the drugs they joke about, the lawsuits, they joke about the things that kill these people. They warn them before taking the drug, here's what could happen to you. This Quaalude could kill you. This could do that. But same thing happened with Brian Wilson. I watched the thing on Pretty Prince, You have these legal drug dealers that work with corporations to manage your emotions, manage your mental and emotional facsimiles to have you just, it's horrible watching these people be destroyed because of the panic and fear of going into survival mode and never being able to get out. You go sit and watch that Tubi show about Freddie Prinze. That's exactly what happened to the guy. He was in panic mode. He never got out of Washington Heights. He went to LA and just took Washington Heights with him. And he was so afraid about sliding back down into Washington Heights, the 6th-floor run-up. I don't want to go back, never going back again. Don't want to go back there again. Don't know how not to go back there again. Right? Stand up for me with the Lord's Prayer. Stand up for me for the Lord's Prayer. You can do it. Okay. Well, you get a lot of these people, their science projects are askew. They've been off for a long time. I told them that when they started talking to me in Sierra Vista, and they told me about what they were doing with genome sequencing. They didn't tell me about genome sequencing until I got here to New Mexico State, but I understood what they were doing when they were talking to me about it. Because they told me about the people in Mexico, and I heard it on the BBC about the people in North Africa. These people have been in tribal warfare for thousands of years. You won't likely be able to get them to stop. It's the Hatfields and McCoys. They're not going to stop Hatfield and McCoy. And my big thing was, I told you guys right off the bat when you came and asked me about all this stuff and this literature and this religious literature and the prophecy from it. I sat there and said, what do we got to do to avoid all the horrible things? Hey, just live the Lord's Prayer. And then, like I told him, in Mexico, have you given them the Lord's Prayer? In North Africa, have you given them the Lord's Prayer? In Chicago, in Denver, in LA, in El Paso, have you given them the Lord's Prayer? No. The only option you give them is survival and panic mode. And psychologically, mentally, and emotionally not being able to withstand it without drugs. And then a lot of those kids, they have them on the news. The one kid that sat there and took his medication and the parents were on, and they said he was a really nice kid. He loved his dog and all that, but he just couldn't handle all the bullshit and the pressure to survive, and he killed himself with the drugs, you know. And then when people die from cancer, it's because they have so much stress and so much toxins, and there's no alleviating it. And then the little lady that they had that was she was a mother, was dying from cancer on the news in El Paso. She said, I just want you guys to use my body as research to try to cure this. And it's like, they have no intention on curing it. They intend on killing all the poor people that can't compete and don't fit in. And then once that is done, then they will automatically not engage in according to them, not engage in the activities that cause such rapid reproduction of cancer cells so they have a timetable and they have a certain time, but there's what they perceive as a management of the population they're obviously doing. Okay, which is fundamentally wrong. It's fundamentally wrong to get people and put them into restaurants. It's fundamentally wrong to put them into hotels. It's fundamentally wrong to put them into car dealerships. Okay. We have the car factories. We can build cars when we need them. We need to build them to last. They need to be made of the best quality. And they need to be driven when necessary, not for extortion, exploitation, manipulation of feeling powerful and being manipulative, not for entertainment. Have you ever seen those commercials about the vaccines for cancer? Mom, Dad, did you know? You stop race car driving. You stop going through and doing entertainment through riding crowd runners around and go four-wheeling in your Humvees and your pickup trucks. You're going to end a lot of childbirth defects, heart disease, cancer. You start doing that, there's going to be less stress, and a lot less people are going to have children with birth defects and children with cancer. You're not going to have those St. Jude commercials on anymore. You're going to park your cars, bars, and wars. We're going to be essential. We're going to know when we need to move. As far as farm equipment to do our farming efficiently, most people will be able to, when you have no extortion, exploitation, okay, you're not taken from the home and institutionalized and indoctrinated into a career for your mental and emotional incarceration the rest of your life. Okay. The main things that most of us have done for thousands of years is maintain a house, okay, and help the ecosystem provide for us and help it function well to maintain a family. What happens is when people get selfish and compare and compete and want that does not want them. Okay. Now, if someone doesn't want you as a sexual partner, okay, that knows an acceptable answer, right? When someone says no, if they don't want you as a sexual partner, then you go, okay, this would be a miserable relationship. And so therefore I don't want to pursue it. Right? And like my dad used to tell me when I was young, he goes, you don't ogle women, and if they're interested in you, they'll let you know. And they do. Right? And I think it's just more upon a man, to sit there and look and say, wow, obviously, she's pretty, but you need to let her instigate, that's who I'm interested in. And then the guy go, okay. And if you're not involved, you're still going to have people where the guy goes, hey, she's interested in me. I'm going to hit it and quit it. And I'm going to the next one. I've had 100 just like you, but don't be blue. I'll have 1,000 before I'm through. And then you're sitting there listening, Jimmy Rogers tells you, I told you our guitar player was like that. And, time we're not a moving thing, it's over. And it's really not that sad if you just met somebody and started having a whirlwind romantic relationship with them in a week and think it's your forever love, and it turns out he's the dog. You just sit there and go, boy, I'm glad I found out about that before I got pregnant, right? And so, when you're in situations where that's why you should take time to make time, get to know people, court, get to know if people are real, make sure that you know that this is a union for life, to continue life through loving one another through our children. And so it's just basic principle, core values that are very intelligent and have sustained the human species to the best way possible for thousands of years. Okay. It's helped civilize us. It's helped get us into groups where we can live together, mutual benefit, and protect people from bullies. Okay. Like what happened with the Hebrews throughout time, and other groups that are similar to the Hebrews. Okay, I'm going to load this one up. I'll just keep talking. I have to fix AI. I've watched the things on the people on AI, and the people that gave us AI, they're not capable of self-correction, just like the corporations that call themselves religions. They're not capable of self-correcting. Politicians, military, they're not. So I have to keep coming on here, making it available, and see how the AI does this. I'm not a magical thinker. I'm just an intelligent person that does not quit and does not give in. I don't like being abused by the perverts in the military here that give you that soap opera on TV you guys call politics. But, what can I say? This is par for the course. This kind of stuff happened to all the people throughout history that were like me. So, I expected different from you guys in the 21st century. I thought you'd be a lot better than your predecessors in the past. But I think the ego addiction to your manipulation has hit an all-time apex of insanity, and it's really hard to correct. So, but hopefully we'll get it corrected. I can't say for sure. I'm not God. Okay, guys? I love you.